What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA DFS Early Look. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I, of course, am from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on all the social media platforms listed above. And if you're ready to take a game to the next level, and check out our projections, our cheat sheets, our articles, as well as our Slack chat, you can look us up at wisetake.com for more information. But in the meantime, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the notifications bell so you're notified whenever we do go live. We are a premium DFS content provider as well as a DFS community designed to help make you a better DFS player. It's Monday. We're starting a new week. Obviously, we do the show as Monday through Friday. Again, I ask you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on anything we do. Our flagship show for NBA, of course, is the NBA Wise stream, which we do 2 hours prior to lock. First hour, another game by game after we have some updates, reviewing our projections. And then, of course, hour two, we switch it over to bring on Paulie. Sometimes we bring on guests, and we take you up until lock to make sure that you're updated on any late-breaking news and to make sure that you understand how to adjust. With that said, guys, the likes go a long way. The likes really help us out. They continue to... they allow us to continue to do the content for free, and we enjoy doing it. We like talking to you guys. We like being out there, and we like to help. So it is what it is. So if you haven't hit the like button already, guys, please do. As you pile in, you'll hear me say that throughout the show. That's how much it helps us. So, not that I like to beat a dead horse or be the broken record, but again, there's a reason we're asking for it, guys. Now, we also got the super chat activated on YouTube. For anybody that wants to show some support, show some extra love, do the dirty as we always do. I'm here with Patches. Young puppy doing his thing. He's crying. I don't know why. He goes outside. He's a little puppy. He goes outside to hear some dog barking to get scared. That's not good, right? Nah, we ain't scared. WiseTake Nation ain't scared. So we're going to have to make some adjustments to that. But he's a puppy. He's learning. Give him some leeway. With that said, quick shout out to those of you piling into the chat. What up, Juice? OG's been going nuts. That's right. OG's been doing dirties, man. As long as they got injuries, they'll keep doing that. Shout out to Charles Walker. What up, Charles? Good to see you, bro. Appreciate it. Says he liked up. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. We got 7 games to get to. That's a pretty nice slate. Obviously, WiseTake Nation has a thing for the number 7. So it works out for us pretty well. We're excited about it. I'm excited about it. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but we're going to go ahead and do what we do. It's the early look. It's only 12:10 p.m. Eastern right now, so we got some time for some news to come in. With that said, we're going to go with what we have, and we'll check back later and see what's changed. Obviously, these projections are available for download if you are subscribed to wisetake.com. Of course, the cheat sheets are automated based off the projections. We've been having a lot of success with that in general. So a lot of good things going on. We got baseball coming. I've been working on the baseball projections. Really excited about that. We're not going to do any spring training content, but we will be ready for opening day. So speaking of the projections for baseball, very excited to go into that. We'll do some strategy videos as baseball season approaches just to make sure you guys are up to par. Because, in the NBA, as fun as it is, NBA is definitely the funnest sport. It's funnest sport to sweat, funnest sport to watch the games, everything. But in the MLB, it's a change of pace, a lot more variance, kind of levels the playing field a little bit, and I think that it gives everybody somewhat of an edge. So I'm excited for baseball to start. Obviously, it's a little bit of a slower pace, and it's a grind like anything else. But I'm definitely excited. So shout out. I see XXZ3LX says, "Hey, what up, bro? What up, William Crudup? What's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Good to see it. Good to see the usual faces piling in, and excited. Looking forward to seeing some new ones as well. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. I got the scheduling notes pulled up that J. Irv writes. It's a free article. Highly recommend you guys check it out. Just highlights some of the schedules so you can keep track of guys that are on back-to-backs, 3 and 4s, 4 and 6s, all that kind of good stuff. And you can find schedule mismatches, which to me is perfect for NBA betting. You find a team that's been 2-3 days rested playing a team in a 4 and 6. So you'll find those situations at times, and that's how I roll, so I like it. First up, we got the Utah Jazz visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers. We have a 220 total up from 219. The Jazz are currently 8.5-point favorites on the road. Starting with the Utah side, I think it's an interesting spot for Gobert. Sure, he'll be needed with Drummond on the other side. Not a ton projecting well for us from Utah. I do like Mike Conley. I think his price is low. And to be honest, I think his minute projection may be a little low based off of what he's been doing recently. Ooh, what did I just do? So we'll take a look at this real quick. Let me see what Mike Conley. let me see what he's been actually doing. I put him at 32, and I always check everybody before I come on here. But then, when you kind of see it out for yourself, you're like, wait a minute. So he played 32 against Washington, but for the most part, he's getting somewhere around 33. I'd feel more comfortable, I think, with him around 33 or at least 32 and a half. If I bump him up to 33 minutes, we'll wait for this to populate. On FanDuel at 6-1, you're not getting as good of a deal, but on DraftKings at 5-4, it's definitely interesting, especially against Cleveland, a team that has really struggled against point guards. As you can see, the 33 minutes brought him up to 5.62x on DraftKings, which is definitely reasonable. Maybe enough to where we can start reaching him. But nothing crazy here. Jordan Clarkson for revenge. That's going to be like a variant play because his minutes have been down, but his usage has been massive when he is on the court. So I may give him a little extra boost just to reflect his increased usage recently. And if you want to factor in the revenge, he was on this team and they just weren't playing him much, which I'm sure pissed him off. It would piss me off. I don't know about y'all, but I'd be pissed as hell. On the Cleveland side, Andre Drummond, we know Tristan Thompson is expected to be out again. Andre Drummond looked really good last game. They needed him on the court. They got Gobert today. They're going to need him again. So I think he gets at least 30 minutes. He played like 36 in that last game, which was awesome. If he gets that again, the prices are phenomenal on both sides. But I didn't want to assume he's going to get that same look because they haven't been playing him that much before. So we put him at about 32. Still projects well on both sides, especially FanDuel. We do know that Darius Garland is out, so we could see this Matt Mooney kid get a little extra run. He's been priced. We want to keep track on how many minutes he's probably going to play. So obviously a little conservative for the time being. But we'll have to take a wait and see approach. We don't want to assume too much. Hopefully we'll dig in, find some information a little bit, and see if he actually gets some run. In the meantime, it looks like Matthew Dellavedova is who we have to pick up a lot of that slack. Not exactly a high usage player, not a high point per minute guy. And I would assume Colin Sexton is probably going to see a boost in this. I think that his minutes probably a little bit more solidified. I'm actually going to raise his minutes because I think 35, considering the injury, may be a little low. We'll put him at 36 for now, which will certainly help him out because he's kind of on the borderline on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he already projects fairly well. So there's actually some upside here. It's a matter of can Cleveland keep it close because Cleveland's been bad. That's the bottom line. They've just not been a good team. Kevin Porter Jr., I think is an interesting value play, but we have a lot of guys around his price range from thinner teams where he may stand more of a chance to play a little bit. But again, we are missing two guys that are regularly part of the rotation in Tristan Thompson and Darius Garland. So there could be some opening for him to get some run. And they've talked about wanting to let him run the offense more, wanting to have him contribute on the offense more. So we'll have to wait and see what they decide to do. As far as the schedule goes, Utah's working with 2 days rest. Cleveland has had a day off. They are in the midst of a 4-6. It's not the worst schedule mismatch we've seen. However, if Cleveland was on a back-to-back in a 4-6, I'd be a little more nervous. But in general, obviously, Cleveland's not a good team. Utah's supposed to be. I don't think I don't think Utah's that good, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Next up, we've got the Portland Trailblazers visiting the Orlando Magic. We've got a 222 total down from 223.5. Orlando opened up -7. They're up to -7.5. Portland has not looked good without Dame. We saw Portland struggle earlier in the season. They got Melo, Whiteside got going, all these things. They looked okay, at least somewhat competitive. And then since Dame's been out, they've been really struggling to even beat bad teams. So a little concerning what we've seen from them. As far as the schedule goes for these guys, both teams working with a day off. It's a 4-6 for Orlando technically, but still both teams have had a day off. Starting off with the Portland side, Whiteside, obviously an option, a spend-up option. He's very expensive, but for good reason. They've relied on him heavily. CJ McCollum, we also have projected for 50 raw points on DraftKings. Obviously had to increase his projection to reflect the boost that he gets. I'm good with McCollum. Obviously, the price is up, so you really need him to do work. Orlando is a very slow-paced team, so Orlando is the side of this game getting paced up pretty drastically. But I do think McCollum, because of the usage, we have to respect it. He's trying to step into that Dame role. He's not as good as Dame, at least not hitting those half-court threes. But if he has a little bit more of an efficient game from downtown, then that's obviously going to help his upside out. But the usage has been there. Trevor Ariza, I would assume, is going to play big minutes. Again, at his price range, we have other guys that just stand out a little bit more. I don't mind Melo at his price. I don't love Melo either, but I think it's okay. He played like 30. He's been playing monster minutes, 36, 37 minutes a game, so they've kind of needed him on the court. I'm all right with it. Keep an eye on Anthony Simons. He's actually a game-time decision today. Should he miss, we will raise the projection for Gary Trent to something pretty big. So that is something that we will be on the lookout for. no doubt. Just keeping an eye on the pooch. He's too quiet. When he's too quiet, I got to see what he's up to, but it looks like he's sleeping. On the Orlando side, Vooch, I like a lot. Whiteside definitely going to have his hands full trying to cover Vooch from the perimeter, and Vooch's price has come down drastically, even in a pace-up matchup. Terrence Ross has played really well, and he's got big minutes. Definitely fine taking shots on him. Aaron Gordon's been phenomenal. His last game was not very good. The usage isn't as high as you would think. He's just getting there with rebounds and just being a little bit more aggressive all around. So I do like him against Portland. You figure he's going to be matched up some with Carmelo Anthony or even Trevor Ariza. Is really nothing you're that worried about. So I'm actually good with taking shots on Aaron Gordon, even at an elevated price tag. On FanDuel, the price really ain't bad at all. Markelle Fultz looks okay. We have a lot of interesting point guard options. James Enos if you need the value, but again, we have other options. I think they may not be as cheap as him, but we have other options that are interesting for value as well. And then Fournier, right? In a game stack, you're including Fournier most likely. Mid-range price, but he's shown upside. His minutes have been down a little bit lately, around like 30, 29, 30, which he's normally around 32, 33. And that's because Terrence Ross has played really well, so he's picking up on some of those minutes. Terrence Ross has gotten like 33 minutes or 32 and 33 minutes each of his last two games. So either way, Orlando, definitely a team that's interesting to target. They're going to get a pace-up boost. Portland, not a good defensive team, so I'm definitely interested. We'll do one more game, and then I'll pop into the chat. We'll just wrap up these 7 o'clock games. We got the Houston Rockets visiting my New York Knicks. Yep, that's right. I'm a loyal dude. That's why I said my New York Knicks, even though they're pathetic. Anyway, 230.5 total. This is the highest one we've gotten to so far. The Rockets are currently 10-point favorites on the road. They opened up -9, up a full point. Houston's had a day off. New York's had a day off. It is a 4-6 stretch for New York, but again, they've had a day off, and at least they're home. Starting with the Houston side, Harden looks like a pretty solid spend up today. No arguments there. Westbrook, not too far behind him. I think he's interesting as well, but when the price gets this close, it's hard for me to lean Westbrook, but I will admit, man, he's been playing awesome. Ever since I dogged his ass on Twitter, it seems. This ain't no credit. I'm not saying I did it. He don't give a fuck what I say, but I'm just saying it was ironic since he had that little slump and I started bashing his ass on Twitter, and I tried to get better with that, guys. I mean, those of y'all who have known me for years now and have seen my tweets, you have to acknowledge I'm showing some improvement with the anger management, right? I'm showing some improvement, trying not to say hurtful things because people get mad. I get mad too. Sometimes I say things that I know I shouldn't say, but I say them anyway. But needless to say, it is what it is. Anyway, trying to get better with that. But Westbrook and Harden are your main two guys here. Harden projecting better even with a full minute less than Westbrook. The rest of the guys are kind of tougher to project. I don't mind Eric Gordon. He's been coming off the bench, but he's been dealing with that knee injury. You never really know when he's going to leave. But that may keep his ownership low and his price is really low. The Garden is a place where shooters typically shoot a little bit better. Robert Covington, I do like a lot. If somebody gets ruled out, I like him even more. He's going to play big minutes. The price has been elevated a little bit, but we know he plays huge minutes. I think in his last game, he played like 37, 38, something monstrous. So doesn't do that every time, but we've seen him do it before. And PJ Tucker is kind of interesting. The Knicks aren't like huge. I mean, to see him matched up with guys like Mitch Robinson should be fun. See if he gets some time against Julius Randle, that should be fun. But obviously, he's just not a point per minute beast. His point per minute average is crazy low. He's going to stand in the corner, but if he's efficient, he can do some work. If he grabs some boards, he can do some work. So never a guy I feel great about, but always someone that I have to keep on the radar just in case. On the Knicks side, I really like Elf today. Dennis Smith Jr. is out with a concussion again. They may play Frank Nitti a little bit more today just for defensive purposes, going up against two dominant guards. But I think Elf is going to be on the court a lot. I think they're going to rely on him. We've seen him in the past excel in fast-paced games, or at least in pace-up spots in Orlando. His team, we saw him kind of capitalize on situations like that. And in New Orleans, he was playing fast games every day because they were really fast when he was there. So I'm actually really good with Elf on both sides. FanDuel, even more so at 6-3, but I like him on DraftKings. He's got the triple-double upside. If this game gets ugly and blows out, we may get screwed. But Elf did play like 36 minutes in his last game, which is pretty impressive for his standards. That's not something he typically does a lot. So I like Elf. I think RJ Barrett is kind of interesting. His minutes we have a little low because, I don't know, I guess maybe that's where I have Frank Nitti coming in. We got Trury projected for a little bit of minutes, but I'm okay with taking shots on RJ Barrett. I'd probably have to raise his minutes a little bit to get more. Let's actually see what he's been doing on a minute basis. 31 minutes against Chicago, 35 against Philly, so still very up and down. Still very tough. But again, if he goes for 30 DraftKings points, you're probably fine, especially on FanDuel, or 30 FanDuel points. So I don't mind him. Maybe we'll make some adjustments. Give him a little bit more. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. We might need a little better than a minute and a half, but I got him at 30 right now. Say we move him to 31.5. It's going to show up as 32, but it's really 31.5. It's just I have it rounded up to make the visuals easier. Let's see how much. On FanDuel, it helped a little bit. On DraftKings, he's still kind of far off. So if we would want him, it would have to be a stance situation. Finally, Julius Randle's price is down. His minutes have been very in flux. We've seen him play anywhere from 25 to 38 recently. So kind of tough to project, but this is a team that should struggle more against bigs, and rebounds shouldn't be too much of an issue for him. And if they want to win, if they want to go after this, if they're able to keep this close, I would imagine it's because Randle kind of did his part. And we know the Elf-Randle correlation when the Knicks do actually play efficiently has been pretty strong. So I don't mind Randle at all. It's just kind of hard to really give him too many more minutes. I mean, even 34 is considered aggressive. Again, the range is there. So the epitome of a tournament play. He could play anywhere from 25 minutes. He can play anywhere up to like 36, 37, 38. So that's kind of where we are. We'll have to take a wait and see type approach. And with that said, for now, we're going to move on. I'm going to pop in the chat real quick and just see who's piling in here. Say what's up to you guys. I know. So let's take a look. Let's get juicier. UK Cat 111 advice on a FanDuel 3-man challenge. I'm not that familiar with the 3-man challenge, UK Cat. I apologize, but not all that familiar with that. FanDuel. Are you just saying a 3-man contest? Do you just mean like a regular 3-man on FanDuel, or is there like a special contest? Mercamel TWD. I'm back and I'm playing Markel again. Hey, I feel you, man. I know you were big on Markel. I know you didn't do exactly what you wanted him to do, but I don't disagree. Markel Fultz is one of the better defenders, or supposed to be. That's the reputation he has. So this could be a spot where they stick him on McCollum and play him huge minutes. It's definitely a viable strategy, and it makes sense for tournaments. So I don't think that's the worst idea at all. It's a stance, right? Like there's nothing that's going to tell you, oh, for sure he's a lock. But in tournaments, you want to take chances on low-owned guys, and I think he's going to be one of them today as far as low ownership. So I don't hate it, bro. And on top of that, man, yeah, he owes you some money, right? He didn't get there like he should have, so maybe he gets there today. I feel you. GQ Rock 007, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Glad you were able to join us today. I gotta go to the gym after this, and then we'll do some dirties. But appreciate it. I enjoyed this moment hanging out with y'all. I tried to do the show a little bit earlier, but with the new dog, it's tough, man. Yo, straight up, this is unrelated, but this dog is 3 months old. We adopted him. He was a stray puppy. We adopted him from the SPCA around here. I'm in Jersey. He's from Kentucky or some shit. So there was some kind of program to get him up here. Dude wakes me up at 6 in the morning every day to go use the bathroom. Wakes me up to take him outside. Not bad. Good dude. Then wakes me up again at 8 for breakfast, and then goes outside and does his business. Got to admit, man, I don't know. He came potty trained. I don't know how that happened. I don't know. Anyway, so how many is too many to stack? This is a question from GQ Rock 007. So how many is too many to stack from one game, like the Hawks and Grizzlies? Well, you know, it's funny. We talked about that on the Wise stream the other day. We had Bobby Fye on, and I thought he answered it well. I agree with him. I think it's more so about the salaries. So if you got 4 guys who are if you got a team that has a lot of like 5K guys you like, you can play 4 or 5 of them if you want. 4 is my comfort zone. But if you're doing like, to me, it's about how much are you investing of your salary. Like how much of that salary on DraftKings or FanDuel are you using for that team? That constitutes a game stack for me. If you're playing Trae Young, maybe you can only get 1 or 2 other Atlanta guys. And it's still considered a game stack. To me, a game stack is where do I have my money vested the most in that lineup. That's what I determine. So to me, it depends on the pricing of the players. Dan Charlin took 3rd in a 3-man yesterday. Find the best value $1 and pair with young Giannis, etc. 3-man challenge, 2K for first place, $3 entry, players price from 5 to 1.7 to spend. Interesting. That is interesting. I'll have to look into that. I'll try to be prepared so I can answer some of those questions. I'll have to look into that a little bit. Appreciate it, UK Cat. I'll definitely keep that in mind. And when I find some downtime, which is tough, man, between MLB projections and running this site, running this company, doing these shows, it could be tough, but I will try to find some time. Anytime these companies introduce something new, I always want to make sure I take a look so I can give any kind of guidance that we can. Those of you who have hit the like button, we appreciate you. Please continue to hit the like button if you haven't already. And we will do dirties. We've got this. I don't know. I'm not really familiar with the super chat thing. I'm not really exactly sure what it is, but we enabled it because I was told you got to enable it, all this kind of stuff. But so if you see something new, maybe y'all could tell me what it is. I don't even know. But anyway, we're going to move on to the next game, do a couple games, and I'll pop back in the chat. If you have questions, go ahead and pop them in. If you haven't hit the like button, guys, please hit that like button. We got the Memphis Grizzlies visiting the Atlanta Hawks. We've got a 240.5 total. 240. By far the highest on the board. Atlanta's currently 2-point favorites at home. Let's take a look at the scheduling. Both teams working with a day off. Both teams in the midst of a 4-6. Again, they've had a day off, but they are still dealing with a 4-6. Going back to the game stat question. So if you look at the pricing of Memphis, I can comfortably play 4 to 5 players from Memphis because their pricing is low. And can that be considered a game stack? On Atlanta, it may be maybe only 3 players because if you include Trae Young, maybe only 2 if you're playing Collins and Trae Young. So again, I think it really does depend on the pricing and how much salary you're investing into the game. This is a situation where you can do 4 players from Memphis because of their pricing and maybe only 2 from Atlanta, whether it's John Collins and Trae Young maybe. And that's a game stack. I know you only got 2 Atlanta players, but you invested a lot of your salary into Atlanta, even with just 2 players. So to me, I'm investing in that game. That's a game stack to me. So that's kind of how I like to look at it. Memphis, for me to consider this a real game stack, I need like 3 or 4 of these guys because their prices are relatively low. Kyle Anderson's played big minutes. I'm okay with him for value. I kind of like the Spurs guys a little bit better, but I will acknowledge this is a solid game. DeAnthony Melton is there for his defense. His point per minute average is actually relatively high. That's why even at 25 minutes, he's projecting well, and he's played 25 minutes in each of his last 2 games. Don't mind Josh Jackson on FanDuel at 3,900, but they seem reluctant to really play him the minutes I thought they would. Ja Morant's been on fire, and he's playing Trae Young whenever he plays some type of name. He seems to elevate his game. We saw him do it against LeBron after slumping for a while. So hard to project him for massive minutes because the variance on him has been really high. His floor has been really low. His ceiling's been massive, but definitely a piece I would not ignore in a game stack. Gorgie Dieng, I would set a rule for Joval and Dieng because I feel like one of these guys should smash. This is a team that's not good against bigs. If it's not Joval because he's slowing down the pace or he's just struggling to keep up, then it's probably going to be Dieng. So I'd set a rule only to play 1. Dylan Brooks, I think as long as he stays out of foul trouble, another guy they like out there for his defense. He's been taking a lot of shots. He hasn't always been efficient with them, but the usage has been solid, so I'm good with him as well. Memphis definitely a team that's looking like we're going to want to grab some. I don't even mind Tyus Jones if you really needed the punt on DraftKings at 3,200. He played 22 minutes in his last game, so he's getting some run. He's another guy that plays some defense, so they may elect him for Trae Young, whatever the case may be. But definitely a team we're going to want some exposure to. It's the highest total on the board by far, and the prices are very reasonable across the board. On the Atlanta side, we're going to start with Trae Young. I do like him a lot. Memphis has really struggled against guards, especially ball-dominant guards, so I'm good with Trae Young. DeAndre Hunter's a minutes play along with Kevin Huerter. These guys are playing massive minutes, and I would include them in any type of game stack as long as you have the salary to afford them with everyone else. John Collins, I don't love the price on him, but I respect the usage. I respect the fact that this is a very fast-paced game. There's going to be some extra opportunities, maybe some extra rebounds. Keep an eye on Cam Reddish. I think he's a game-time decision today. He left the last game early with a sore back, so should he miss, that could open up a little more value. It would solidify Hunter. We would probably elevate Hunter to like 38 minutes. I'd raise Huerter to 36 minutes or so. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Plus, that would probably lead to guys like Bruno Fernando and maybe Damian Jones getting a little extra run. And I would also probably make Collins play more 4. So these are all things to keep in mind. Hopefully we have that information by the time we do the Wise stream later on today. But this is definitely a game not to ignore. This is a game to pay attention to. Again, on Atlanta, I'm looking more at Trae Young. On the Memphis side, you can really play a bunch of them. The rotations, the variance is there, but massive total. I would imagine we end up with a lot of Memphis today in general. Right? Let's keep it rolling. The next game, we got the Milwaukee Bucks visiting Miami Heat. Let's take a look here. Chris Middleton he hasn't played the last 2 games. Keep an eye on his status. We have a 225.5 total down from 226. Milwaukee opened up -3. They're up to -4. As far as the schedule goes, this is a back end of a back-to-back for Milwaukee. Miami's had a day off, but it is a 4-6 stretch for them. So on the Milwaukee side, we'll see if Middleton plays. If Middleton plays, I don't mind him. I think his price is pretty low, assuming he's going to get a full 33 minutes like he has been. That's not a guarantee, though, being he's had a sore back. Eric Bledsoe's price has come down. I don't mind him either, especially if Middleton is out. I'll be more likely to play a guy like Bledsoe. Giannis, I'm okay with. We have a lot of other studs that are cheaper than him. He's coming off a phenomenal game. I think a 40 and 20 line he posted, so I'm okay with him. But I do think as of right now, I kind of prefer some of the other studs. Miami is one of the slowest teams out there, especially recently. So this is a situation where I'll be a little bit more interested if we get some injuries, if Middleton misses or something crazy like that. Otherwise, I think the Miami side of this game is a little more attractive. Milwaukee is one of the faster teams out there. They are good defensive teams, but they are fast. Goran Dragic's played over 30 minutes in 2 straight games, and his price has come down. I do like him. Jimmy Butler looking like an awesome mid-tier play on DraftKings at 7,500. Even at 8K on FanDuel, it's not bad. The position over there is tough. You got McCollum, you got DeRozan, all these guys in usage bumps. You got Levine. It's a pretty loaded position over there. On DraftKings, he's shooting guard, small forward eligible, and he's a little cheaper at 75. So I do like Jimmy Buckets in a pace-up spot. I like Duncan Robinson as well for value. Milwaukee's a team that typically collapses down low. They force you to shoot the three, and that's what Duncan Robinson does. So if he has a game where he's efficient or whatever the case is, he could really do some work. I don't mind Bam Adebayo here. The price is right on DraftKings. On FanDuel, the price is elevated, but I like the fact that he's power forward eligible over there, just to kind of free up your center spot. So I'm okay with Bam, but it's really Buckets and Dragic, my main two. And then for value, again, I do like Duncan Robinson just because of the flow of the game. Milwaukee is a team that you want to shoot the three against. That's one of their weaknesses. They kind of force you to do that by collapsing down low when you go to the hole, and especially when Giannis is down there. But be on the lookout. If we get guys out, like for instance, if Giannis gets out for rest or whatever, which we've seen on back-to-backs, then we'll have to load up on Middleton and Bledsoe. The dynamic of the slate will change. But for now, it's really the Miami side that's a little bit more attractive to me here. For me. Crowder on FanDuel, 4,200. I don't mind that. I don't mind it. What we got here? We got 2 more games, so I'm going to pop into the chat real quick. Just check on y'all. Y'all got to be, can't leave y'all unsupervised. I appreciate you. UK Cat says, yeah, man, I shared this as well. I appreciate you, UK. I really do. That's really cool of you, man. Anytime you guys share, whatever you can do to support us, help us out, I'm grateful. We're all grateful. This is what we do. This is what I do. This is it. I don't got no job. This is it. WiseTake Nation is life for me, for my family, my wife, and my dog. So let's go. If you haven't hit the like button, guys, I see a bunch of you in here, and I'm not seeing all the likes up there. Help me out a little bit. Help me out. Come on. Help me out. I'm doing what I do. I could be at the gym pumping some iron, and I'm in here balling with y'all because I care. And I want y'all to get better. I want y'all to get better because I want y'all to keep playing, because I want the industry to survive, because I love playing DFS. I'm in Jersey, bro. Sports betting's legal here, and I like that as well. But, I just like DFS. It's just something about it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, hit the like button if you haven't already, and if you have, I appreciate you guys. I really do. All right, let's go on to the Dallas-Chicago game. Luka Doncic, we know, is probable. It's a little headliner. We've got a 225.5 total. Dallas opened up -3.5. They're up to -5, probably because Luka has been officially ruled in, or at least deemed probable. This is a back end of a back-to-back for Dallas. This is amidst of a 4-6 stretch. Chicago's had a day off. Not the biggest mismatch if Chicago only had one day off, but this is a tough part of the schedule for Dallas, being that they're on the back end of a back-to-back on a 4-6. It helps that Luka didn't play yesterday. Keep an eye on Kristaps Porzingis. As of right now, we have him in for 32 minutes. If he's confirmed in, I'll raise his minutes a little bit more. This is obviously a good spot for centers, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him sit today. He played massive minutes yesterday, even in portions of the game where he wasn't needed. He's been balling. Luka was obviously out, so his usage was massive, but I wouldn't be surprised if they played Luka and they decided to rest Porzingis. So keep an eye on that. It's just my own speculation. I didn't hear anything. I researched to see if I saw anything, because initially, last night, certain places had him projected out. So I didn't see anything on that, so I guess that was a guess. And then today, everybody went on the same page and put him in. So I think that we'll have to pay attention. If he's in, I'm interested, even with Luka back, because of the spot. But if he's out, then we're going to have to load up on Luka and really take a hard look at guys like Maxi Kleber, maybe even Willie Cauley Stein, if he plays. I think he's been dealing with injuries. Let me check the latest on him. Willie Cauley. Oh, he's not with the team. Okay, he's not with the team. He wasn't with the team. He was out Sunday. He was out for Friday and Sunday. He wasn't really in the rotation anyway. I do respect that. So, but if Porzingis is out, that would leave room. I guess it depends. We'll have to take a wait-and-see approach. He wasn't with the team, but they said that he could return on Monday. So we'll have to see what happens. And I'm really only interested if Porzingis is out, to be honest with you. And that's the story with everyone. If Porzingis is out, I'll be interested in a lot of these guys. We'll have to look at Tim Hardaway extra close. We'll have to look at Seth Curry extra close. And, of course, the bigs, Maxi Kleber, I'd load up on against the Bulls. But in the meantime, if everybody's in, it's mainly Luka and Porzingis, as per usual, right? They soak up so much usage. That's just it. And Chicago is not exactly a fast team. Speaking of Chicago, Wendell Carter has been playing, but on a minutes limit of around 20. I think Zach LaVine is very interesting, competitive at that position. I expect his ownership to be relatively low because of all the other guys like McCollum and some of these other options. Kobe White at 5,800. He's been balling. We'll have to check on the statuses of the injuries and see who's in, see who's out, all that good stuff. But he has been balling. So if I may have to give him a boost to make sure we get some, but I'm willing to do that. That's how good he's been. Not too much else from this side that I'm interested in, but Levine is, again, a guy I want to keep a close eye on. We have the Pacers going up against the Spurs. Let's see. We've got a 221.5 total. Pacers opened up -2.5 on the road. They're down to -2. Indiana's had a day off. San Antonio's also had a day off, but they have a game tomorrow. So this is the front end of a back-to-back for San Antonio. If this game gets ugly, look for them to bail early. LaMarcus Aldridge is currently doubtful. As far as the Pacers go, TJ Warren's been playing really well, and he's been getting big minutes for it. On FanDuel at 5.9, I love it. Brogdon, I'm cool with taking shots on at point guard. Sabonis, even, his price is down. The Spurs give up more points in the paint than they're amongst the worst as far as points in the paint allowed. And Sabonis, we know, is a guy that they're willing to give big minutes to when the time's right. Doesn't always get it, but we know he can. Miles Turner's been playing really well. Again, this is a situation where San Antonio's bad against bigs, and now they're missing two of their bigs, their first two in line. So I do like Miles Turner as well. Victor Oladipo showing signs. I think in his last game he went for 31 DraftKings points. He's showing some life. 31's not going to cut it for us today. We want a little more than that, but he's showing some life. Not a guy I want to bail on completely. I think we can keep an eye and see where that goes. On the Spurs side, this is where things get interesting. So Podol's going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. Aldridge is doubtful and didn't go to shoot around. This leaves them with Trey Lyles and Drew Eubanks as their only bigs. Drew Eubanks had 4 fouls in 16 minutes against Vooch. Now he's going to have to try to play Miles Turner and Sabonis. If he gets into foul trouble, Lyles played 40 minutes in that last game. I could definitely see Lyles playing another 36, 37. We put him at 34, and he still projects really well on both sides. One of the top value plays in my position, and the power forward eligibility really, really helps. Rudy Gay got big minutes, and again, I think they have to. They're just so thin at this point. They're going to have to play Rudy Gay. Usage hasn't been a problem for Gay. It's been minutes. If he's going to get minutes, I love Rudy Gay today. I like DeJounte Murray. Even though the Pacers, I do respect their defense, they're just thin. They just don't have too many bodies. And, of course, DeMar DeRozan, who projects as one of the better mid-tier plays on the slate. We anticipated his usage being up. I will admit, when Aldridge is out, the usage hasn't been as high as I thought. He did have one really good game without Aldridge, but in the last game, wasn't all that great. The usage wasn't as high as I anticipated, but still, his price is reasonable when you consider the fact that Aldridge is not there. So I'm more than willing to play a lot of these Spurs. It's the late night hammer all by itself. I'm comfortable with that. So this is where I'm going to get a lot of value mixed in with some of that Memphis stuff. But it's a pretty good slate. I think it's a pretty good slate. I like where we're at, and hopefully Aldridge does actually miss, and we can load up on some of these Spurs and feel comfortable with that. I mean, Drew Eubanks, if you want to take a shot, is min price and power forward eligible on DraftKings. Bryn Forbes is extremely cheap. So there's a lot of value to work with here. Kind of picking the right ones is going to be the trick. But even in a tough matchup against the Pacers, you got to figure that some of these guys are going to get some run and have a chance to really do some work. Rudy Gay, got my eye on as well for matchup purposes, being that TJ Warren has always been one of the worst defenders in the game. So definitely a spot that I'm interested in and I'm ready to keep an eye on. And that is going to do it, Nation, for the early look. I'm going to pop in the chat real quick, just kind of take a look around, a little quiet. Those of you who have piled in, please hit that like button. It goes a long way, really helps us out. And don't forget to come back for the final look, the NBA Y stream, which we will do at 5 p.m. Eastern and take you up until lock. First hour will be a game by game once again, like we do just now, but we'll see what's updated, show you guys the projections again. And then, of course, hour 2, we bring on Paulie D. Him and I will take you up until lock, talking some game theory, answering some questions if we can, and building our own teams. And, of course, waiting for news, because the news is most important in NBA. We need that news. We need to know how to react, all that kind of stuff. So we will keep you posted up until lock. With that said, let me see. Bledsoe's minutes have been down the past 2 games at Middleton now. Yeah, no, they're weird like that. They're really, really real weird like that, bro. You have to give me the pronunciation again, bro. I'm sorry, man. I feel so terrible, man. Especially the guys like you who are in here all the time. I gotta learn to say your name, man. Hook it up. You don't gotta do it now. Hook it up tonight, though, because you're my dude, bro. You're always in here, asking questions, and I appreciate it, man. UK Cat, I'm sure you asked this question before I talked about Lyles, but yeah, I love Lyles today. He got 40 minutes in the last game. 40 minutes. So yeah. Cyber Soldier, any Osman. I'm okay with it. You know, I want him to be a little bit more thin, but he's been playing bigger minutes. They haven't had a choice. Garland's out. That may lead to him get more minutes. I feel more comfortable with the value on the Spurs, to be honest with you, but I don't hate the idea at all, Cyber Soldier. I understand it. I understand where you're coming from. He's cheap, and his minutes have been a little more up. And there's some injuries there. Tristan Thompson's out. I know it's not necessarily injuries to his position, but it's still, when that happens, a lot of players have to shift to cover other positions, which then can open up time for him. So I really don't mind it at all. That's going to do it for us, Nation. I'm going to get up out of here, go to the gym if I have time, and do what I got to do. Continue to look for news, continue to hunt, and make sure our projections are as best as they could possibly be. These are the same projections that I use every single day when I run into the optimizers, Lineup HQ, Fantasy Cruncher, whatever it is you use. I upload the projections into those. Boom, build my 150 to 170, whatever many teams I want. And, these are the same ones I do. I update them all throughout the day, update them all the way up until lock. So, again, if you want the projections, they don't look like this. This is a visual I made for you guys, so you can follow along with me. But if you want access to the projections, they're available at WiseTake.com. You can get a day pass, $2.50, get access if you want to try them. 12S Mitchell and Aaron Gordon on DK. I'm fine with it, man. I'm fine with Aaron Gordon. Pace up spot against Portland. I'm good. He's played really, really well. Portland plays no defense. I'm good with it, man. I do like Aaron Gordon for tournaments. I do. Oh, speaking of the devil, yo, did you know that was coming? As soon as I said that, we just got a notification. Aaron Gordon is questionable with a knee injury. Aaron Gordon is officially questionable with a knee injury. So just another thing to keep an eye on. We'll have to take a look. Also, Anthony Simons on track to play. So keep an eye on these situations. Hopefully we'll have some answers when we come back. If we don't have them before the show, we should have them on the show. But Aaron Gordon just became questionable. If he were to get ruled out, then we'd obviously have to be looking at all the other Orlando pieces. All of them. We'd be looking at Markelle Fultz for sure. Vooch, I would be loading up on Vooch at his price. Evan Fournier, Terrence Ross, all of them. I would want to play a lot of Orlando if he gets ruled out. If he's in, I do like him, though. That's going to do it for us, Nation. Appreciate y'all. If you haven't hit the like button, please do make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you're notified whenever we go live. You don't miss nothing. I'm going to get up out of here, do the dirty. I'll catch you guys at 5 p.m. Eastern. For myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.